Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. It's time for another episode full of delicious recipes. Today's episode is all about California prunes. I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious sweet and sour California prune dip, and I'm going to show you how to use it 3 different ways. Right, so with this recipe, it starts with the onion, all right? So we're gonna get these sliced and caramelized. So the easiest way to do it is just to slice it as thin as possible, okay? The thinner you cut them, the nicer and sweeter the onions will caramelize, okay? So take your time. And the important bit is when you are slicing up your onions is, do you see that little core there, Emily?
Yep.
That needs to stay on there. So when you're peeling your onions, don't cut halfway into it, because otherwise it'll fall apart. Just carefully peel the minimal amount off, and then it will all hold together while you cut it, okay?
Can you use red onions for this?
Yeah, and red onions would go an even deeper colour, to be honest. But with white onions are slightly cheaper anyway, and we're going to caramelise them with California prunes and some balsamic vinegar, which is quite fruity, and kind of get that sweet and sour, tangy thing going on, which will work really well. We're going to make a bread. So I've got this amazing sourdough loaf, and we're going to stuff it with sweet and sour California prunes and blue cheese and bake it. It's going to be delish. And then we're going to make it into a dip, and then we're going to make it into a pasta dish as well. So there's loads of different things you can do. So you can make like loads of this in advance and then turn it into different things. And it's got some really good nutritional value because the California prunes are like super good for you. They're like a superfood. Pip is by my side waiting, thinking this might be a carrot, but unfortunately, kiddo, it's not. No carrots today. Not sure I'm allowed to give you a prune.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
No. Right, so I've got a non-stick pan getting on the heat here. I'm going to add a little bit of oil into the pan, so like a tablespoon, and then I'm going to get these onions in. And then I will slice the last one up. Now this is one of 3 episodes that we've done. And if you type free book into the comments, it will automatically launch into Facebook Messenger. And you will be able to download a little mini ebook with all the recipes. There's 7 different recipes. Emily's photographed them, they look amazing. We've written the recipes up, so they're nice and easy to do. So you could do that, or you can go to californiaprunes.net, where all our California prune recipes are located, and there's tons there. So there's loads that you can get a hold of. Go to the website, have a look, see what you think. So last half of my onion. There we go. So like I said to you, the thinner the better on this, okay? And you want to take your time, use the biggest frying pan you've got, because then you've got a bigger surface area, okay? So oil on the bottom and then salt on the top. What's that going to do, Emily?
Draw all the moisture out.
Exactly, and help with caramelization. Keep her on her toes. Hey? Yeah, Pip? What's she doing? Hey? Right, so let's have a little look. So once you put your salt in, that will draw that moisture out and it will hit the bottom of the pan and evaporate. And then the natural sugars from the onions will help it all caramelize. So just cook it on a medium heat, keep it going. Find another job to do, I don't know. Mix some bread, make a loaf of bread or something while you're waiting. But take your time and let them caramelize right down. Okay? So they will take about 15 minutes to get like these ones, okay? I'm gonna let those carry on cooking. And you see they've just literally just dropped. The water's come out, it's hit the bottom of the pan, it's evaporated, and then the natural sugars caramelize and soften the onions, and that's how they become lovely and sweet. Okay, we're going to add our delicious California prunes. Just test them. There you go, straight in. Don't need to chop them up at this stage. Okay. And then I've got some delicious balsamic vinegar. Okay, so you're going to be going to Moderna, are you? You're passing Moderna when you go to Italy, are you not?
Yes,
I think.
we are.
Seem to remember having a look at Google Maps with you a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So beautiful, beautiful wine, vinegar, made from wine. So we're going to add that in. Don't use like really, really expensive vinegar for this. The really good stuff is just for eating as it is. And you'll find this when you go to Italy. Yeah. You will have never tasted as many vinegars in your life when you go there, because they're just, there's different ages, and they're like, some are like syrups, but natural. They're literally, you could drink them. They're so nice.
Does it have to be balsamic for this recipe?
I think balsamic works with California prunes really, really well for this recipe. Because what we're trying to do is caramelize our onions and our California prunes, and then just kind of wrap it all around with this fruity vinegar. You could use red wine vinegar if you wanted, but I think what you'll find is you then need to add a bit more sugar. But this has got that lovely sort of fruitiness to it. But if you've only got red wine vinegar, use that if you like. But it works really, really well with the balsamic vinegar, and it's really easy to get hold of. I'm just going to add a touch more, actually. Right. Fresh thyme is our hero herb today. This is going to work really, really well. You could add a touch of rosemary if you haven't got time, but fresh thyme just works. It's got a sort of fragrance to thyme, and it kind of just, it lifts the whole thing.
What about dried thyme?
If you have to, if you live on an island in the middle of nowhere and you haven't got a supermarket, then you'll have to use fresh thyme. But thyme, buy a plant and put it in the garden, it just keeps coming back. It just keeps going,
Plant
so
that everybody can like look after, and it'll live on its own.
even you could keep a thyme plant alive.
Oh, that's true. It's true. I kill plants very easily.
Even my wife can keep a thyme plant alive, and she would even admit that she doesn't keep many things alive in the garden. And I'm a big believer that I will only grow anything if I can eat it, all right? So that's my mantra. Right, we're going to blend this up, okay? So I've got a little hand blender here. So we're just going to pop that in. And I actually think this works better when it's warm, okay? So I'm going to leave a few there for one of our recipes. Sit tight. And then, look at this. Clever little thing. So you don't have to get the massive big plug-in food processor. You can get these little hand ones. And then they just blitz it together. Look, there you go. Done. Very little washing up. I think that's a good thing. Right. Okay, should we make our bread first? So, sourdough. You want to buy quite a robust loaf of bread. Don't buy like a really squidgy, spongy kind of big bread cake. You want something, you know, that's got a bit of oomph about it and it can take the oven. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut through about 2/3 slices like so. This is my German bread knife. A German baker gave me this knife. It's brilliant. It's just the best for this job. And then we're going to turn it the other way and we're going to cut it like that. All right? And we're going to make a sort of a bit of a garlic bread kind of thing, but not garlic. Okay? We're going to work on the combination theory. But look, that is just crying out for flavour to be put in there. Okay? So, let's take some of our balsamic onion with California prunes, and we'll just open it up and pop it in there. Yeah? Just take your time. And then just go all the way along. And just push it into all those cuts.
I'd say this would be perfect for sharing, but I think I would quite happily like eat this.
Well, the concept of cutting it means it's a sharer.
Nah.
But if you want to take one of these to a room alone with you, then that's up to you. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? It's gonna be delicious.
It looks and smells really good.
It is. Do you like blue cheese?
I can eat it in things. I couldn't eat it as a cheese on its own.
Okay.
But I think.
There you go. Try that combination together. Okay?
I was just about to say I don't eat it like as a fresh cheese.
Try that. You're off camera. You're okay. It's about that kind of saltiness of a blue cheese with the sweetness of California prunes and the savouriness of onions as well. All right? It's a combination. And it's very much about sort of taking those combinations and celebrating them with a...
Good, that.
I knew you were going to say that. I just carried on talking to the viewers thinking, she's just going to work on that quietly and she's going to go and like nervously taste it and then she's going to try it and she's going to be like, actually, that's really nice. I know best.
You do. You do.
Well, okay, so we're nearly there. Right, so now we take our blue cheese. This is a Shropshire Blue, okay? Choose the blue cheese that you love. You could go Gorgonzola, you could go Stilton. There's a nice Yorkshire Blue, I think, that I've come across. There's some Cumbrian ones where I live, Dubworth Blue, I think it's called. So there's lots to try out there. Just find the one. And if you don't like blue cheese, that's okay. Try it with something else. It would work with feta. It would work with Lancashire cheese. That would work well because it's kind of creamy. But just find the cheese that you love. Do you know what would work really well? Camembert. Wedges of camembert in this would be amazing. Emily's thinking, why have you not done that? Why have you done this blue cheese? But blue cheese...
It's a nice combination, to be fair.
Blue cheese and caramelized onions and California prunes all work. She's showing me her clean spoon. She's very proud of herself because she's not a blue cheese eater. And I totally get that because it is a bit of a, I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. And blue cheese is one of those that takes effort.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I can eat it in things within things.
Yeah.
But as a cheese bite, like, you know, when you get it on a cheese board, I don't know.
Yeah. I tend to avoid it myself. I don't.
But in things, I can see that working quite well once it's kind of melted and
Yeah.
all the flavours come together.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
There you go, you
You
see.
shouldn't have said camembert to me because that's like...
I know, now you're just disappointed.
That's like my most favourite cheese.
But if that's the cheese that you love, that's what you should put in it.
Yeah.
Totally. Right, we're going to take some of that chopped thyme and we're going to pop that on there. I mean, that's going to be so good. You know, we've got caramelized onions, we've got California prunes, and we've got cheese in bread. What's not to love? Let me recap. This little beauty here is a sourdough bread that's been stuffed with California prunes, caramelized with onions, balsamic vinegar. It's going to be absolutely delicious. We've then studded it with, studded it with blue cheese. We've gone for Shropshire Blue. So it's not a really heavy blue cheese. It's quite light in its veins and blueness. Okay, finally, a little drizzle of honey on the top, like that. Because that is just going to wrap itself around it all and taste amazing. We're going to take a tray. Now, I've got a tray with holes, okay? Because that means when it goes into the oven, the air gets underneath it and the bread underneath doesn't go sort of soggy. It will stay nice and crispy. 150 to 160 degrees C. We're not trying to cook this, we're just trying to melt it all together. And then we're going to serve it all up. It's going to be delicious. Into the oven. Now, we've got some remaining here, all right? What I'm going to do is just find my blender lid, okay? And we're going to make a really nice dip, okay? So, touch more vinegar, couple of tablespoons with the remaining. Little bit of honey in there. And then let's pop some of our fresh thyme. So in with some fresh thyme, about a teaspoon, and that'll just give us a little bit of fragrance. I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper in there. I don't need to put any salt in because we salted the onions when we were caramelizing and cooking them. Pop the lid back on and then just blitz it a little bit more. There we go, good workout, good for the bingo wings if that's important to you.
Yeah, it is.
Right, and then it is really, really simple. I've got some lovely black olive sourdough here, which I love. And the saltiness of the olives in this bread is going to work really well with the dip, okay? So if you can find some lovely, I mean, look at that. It's just loaded with olives. If you're an olive fan, you're going to blooming love it. If not, you need to try it. I was always told there's an olive out there for everybody.
There's an olive.
And surprisingly, when I was in California, I did a tasting session with Chef Barbara, her name was. She was a lovely lady. And we tasted California prunes with lots and lots of different ingredients in a big room with loads of people. And there were some amazing flavour combinations that blew my mind. And I then brought home and applied to my cooking. So
What was the strangest that you tried?
Anchovy, salted anchovy and California prune.
You know which one baffled me when we did a little bit of it here, didn't we?
We did.
You said about like mint and prune.
Yeah.
And we tried it like with a little bit of Kendal mint cake because of
We
the
did.
mint, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, that can't work, and it did. It really did.
It works really well. So California prune and mint. So fresh mint, it works really well with. But because we're in the Lake District, it was like Kendal mint cake. It's got to be in it. So we tried, and the fragrance and the breath of fresh air that you get from the mint with California prunes is amazing. What you need to go buy some California prunes, go buy some mint, sit there and try it. But yeah, no, and we also did miso and California prunes, so quite a salty flavour. We did roasted squash, goat's cheese, what else? Chocolate, walnut, and all sorts. It's really amazing what kind of works. So we have our California prune, caramelized balsamic onion and fresh thyme here. A beautiful dip, okay? And that in itself is just going to be delicious. But what I've done, and you might not notice this, but I've done it, is I've made like little reservoirs in the top because I want to take a beautiful extra virgin olive oil and I want to put little bits, little wells of oil in there because that's going to, I mean, you think when you sit in Italy and you have oil and vinegar, the combination together too. So you're going to get that sort of silkiness on the top of your roof of your mouth from the olive oil, and then you're going to get that sweet, caramelized, acidic hit with the California prunes, and then you've got this lovely, salty kind of umami bread, which is olive bread. It's going to be amazing. So amazing that I'll have to taste it and tell you how blooming good it is. Back within her comfort zone. That is absolutely banging. What do you think?
That's delicious.
Do you know what? The olive oil just makes that
Yeah, it smoothens it out, doesn't it?
silky.
Yeah.
That is dish number 2. California prune and caramelized onion dip with olive bread. Right, our final dish. Don't forget the bread is still in the oven, so that is to come yet, don't worry. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Do you remember this? The remaining California prunes with caramelized onions, okay? That was left, wasn't it? So we're going to add a touch of vinegar. Okay, tablespoon. And then we're going to add a tablespoon. Is that a tablespoon?
A little bit more than a tablespoon, that.
A pita tablespoon of butter. And let's pop that on there. And we're going to make a lovely pasta sauce now. Okay. I have my old friend Parmesan cheese. Can't have pasta without a bit of Parmesan, can you?
No.
Not really. Right, let's get that onto full heat. Now, I have got some pasta cooking here. I'm just going to move that onto there so you get to see everything that's going on. So, spaghetti cooked in salted boiling water, okay? Really important that you boil your pasta in salted water and that you have loads of space in your pan. Do not choose a really small pan. Otherwise, you won't be able to move it around like this, yeah? It needs space, okay? Right, let that butter melt. And this, we're going to take some water from our pasta, 1 ladle, and that's going to go in there. That water is full of starch, and it will just come together and be almost a bit creamy now. You see how sort of light that's become now. Let's add our pasta. So don't put it through a colander. Lift it out with a pair of tongs, okay? You get a bit more of that silky water. There we go. Let's move that out the way. And then we go in with our old friend, Mr. Reggiano. So in with some pasta, in with some Parmesan cheese. Put half in now, and then half in later when you finish the dish. Okay, right. Okay. Now, let's take our tongs and just turn the spaghetti around.
That's a very vigorous
It is. Do you know what I mean? This is what's going to make it really, really lovely, because you've got to kind of get all those caramelized onions and the prunes and the vinegar to kind of coat the spaghetti. Okay? So one final thing, for me, will make a big difference. I think if we sprinkle some lovely walnuts on the top. Okay, so these have been roasted for 10 minutes in the oven, so they are nice and crunchy. Okay? And also, beautiful walnuts and prunes. Amazing combination. Right. Got my walnuts. Let's take some of our spaghetti. Whoa, there we go. And because I'm a chef, I like to make it look as pretty as I possibly can.
Would you lift the bowl up so we can see?
Up to...
Onto the chopping board.
Yes, you want it there?
Yes, please.
So what you're going to have is this lovely kind of pasta dish, and it's got the sweet caramelized onions. It's got the prunes that have just soaked up the vinegar and the butter and the pasta water now. So just grab a few of those. Now, it's a kind of sweet and sour combination that you might not have come across before in Italian food, but it does exist. It is out there. It's a lovely combination of flavors. Some fresh thyme on there. And then we're going to finish it. A little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil will make it silky like it did with the dip. Okay? And then finish with that little bit more Parmesan cheese, and that is a delicious pasta dish. We've got spaghetti tossed together with our caramelized onions, California prunes, balsamic vinegar, a little bit of butter, a little bit of the pasta water, that's the secret tip, and then scattered with fresh thyme, walnuts, and a little bit more Parmesan. That is going to be such a good dish. Such a good dish. And if I have a little taste of this, that will give me just enough time to make sure that the bread is ready. So, oh, good. Right, our caramelized onion, prune and blue cheese bread is done. Look at that bad boy. Ooh. What you're going to get with this is, because we've cut it, look, into little cubes, you are going to get the most delicious, sweet, sour, slightly salty, crispy bread. It's just the most amazing combination of flavors, all inside a loaf of bread. It's a cheese sandwich, but not as you know it. But that is how you make 3 dishes out of 1 recipe. Thank you very much for watching. Now, if you want any of the recipes here, please go to californiaprunes.net. You will find them all there. Scan the QR code along the bottom. You can also type in free book in the comments, follow the instructions, and you'll be able to download Emily's beautiful ebook with all the recipes, images. There's some beautiful shots of the vineyards, or orchards, should I say, over in California, so you can kind of see where these amazing products come from. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.